Frontier with the front token is going absolutely ballistic today on a day where actually not a lot of other cryptocurrencies are moving. What's creating this rally? Who is buying here? Who's selling here? Is there some news coming out? What is going on? Let's have a look at the data most people are not looking at. Let's have a look at the hidden data, the blockchain data, the people that are buying and selling here. Let's really look underneath the surface. So this is the rally I'm talking about. We are up 28% roughly. We are now at $1.65. So that's the gain today. But this week we almost doubled. And this year we almost 10x'd. Now that appreciation didn't happen without any drama. Have a look at this. A lot of pump and dumps in the token. And there is a good reason for this. But first, let's have a look at some fundamentals. What's going on with the project? Check out the GitHub repository. So this is the place where programmers submit their code changes and update the project code. On GitHub, we can get an idea of how active a project is at any given moment. And when we check this out, unfortunately, this is not too pretty. The recent updates happened in the middle of last year. So pretty much 1 year without any activity whatsoever. So is this a dead project? Let's dig further. So there's the Frontier Web3 wallet. When we check out the Chrome extension, there are only 8,000 users. Not that impressive. Frontier is incentivizing decentralized finance usage, but on DeFi Llama, where we see all kinds of protocols, thousands of protocols actually. When we search for Frontier, unfortunately, there's no result. But maybe there are some big plans and maybe we have looked at the wrong GitHub repository. Let's look at the roadmap. So here we go. This is the website with the roadmap. It talks about the 2023 roadmap. Now this hasn't been updated for a year as well, right? Probably more than a year. There is a roadmap describing everything happening until March of this year. This has all already passed. Clearly something seems to be somehow fishy here, right? Why is the price going up when there seems to be no activity around the project? Let's have a look at supply versus demand. Is there potentially manipulation? And why would there be manipulation in the price now? Check this out. This is the circulating supply of the front token over time. And this went from 10 million, below 10 million, all the way to almost 90 million. So a 9x in the supply in the span of roughly 2 years. If the demand doesn't grow to the same extent in that time period, then of course the price goes down, right? Price is a result of demand versus supply. If the supply grows massively, demand can't catch up, then the price will go down. So that's nasty, but the pretty thing about this chart is that there's no more supply expansion since August of 2022. So according to CoinMarketCap, we are now at 90% of circulating supply. Who knows if this is really 90% or already 100%, at least according to Messari.io, nothing is currently happening with the circulating supply. The last 10% probably are also not going to move the needle that much anymore. So here's the relative valuation of the front token to Ethereum. So I don't like to look actually at US dollar price charts because US dollar price charts are massively influenced by overall liquidity movements, right? When Bitcoin goes up, when Ethereum goes up, then all altcoins go up as well and vice versa. When we divide an altcoin price by, for example, Ethereum, then we take away that overall market liquidity effect. And the chart we end up getting is actually a chart that shows the idiosyncratic movements of the altcoin. So again, this is the front token relative to Ethereum. And of course, no surprise here. Initially, this went down by 80%, and that's because of that supply expansion. But since then, it seems like there are some massive pump and dumps every now and then. So what could be happening here is that maybe some people are shorting the token because there's no more activity around the project, and because there are too many shorts open, some whales see this as an opportunity to short squeeze, to just buy up the useless token, to then squeeze the people that are shorting, making money in the process. Pretty much similar to what we have seen with GameStop, right? Do you remember this whole story around GameStop? A lot of hedge funds were shorting GameStop because more and more sales of video games moved from physical locations to online, and so GameStop with its physical location approach had declining revenue numbers and would likely go out of business. That's why a lot of hedge funds shorted the stock, the GameStop stock. But what then happened is that retail investors on Reddit saw that there was all this open short interest, they all bought up the stock and short squeezed the hedge funds. So the hedge funds then had to buy back the stock for a higher price. That's a short squeeze. You always want to be on the long side when a short squeeze happens. And I believe this is probably what happened over here with those pump and dumps, right? A short squeeze and then afterwards a deflation after the people had been kicked out of the market. And so maybe this is again what we are seeing now, a pump and potentially, I don't have a crystal ball, a potential dump again. And maybe later we see this again and again and again. This seems to be a recurring theme for this token. Now the funny thing is, because everybody might now anticipate the price to go down and because enough people might be betting on falling prices yet again, that the whales because of that might be buying. So this is something generally to look out for. Whenever you're considering to bet on falling prices of any asset, make sure that your bet is not the common bet. Make sure not to make a popular short trade. So when everybody talks about this particular asset being bad and it makes sense to potentially bet on falling prices, don't join that. I think it's better to bet on falling prices of assets that most people do not yet have on their radar. You want to bet on falling prices of assets that tend to be rather liquid, so that are pretty deep in market cap and have deep liquidity pools that are harder to manipulate up. And you want to bet on those kind of assets that have a constant underperformance, that didn't get short squeezed in the past. And you want to do this with assets that most people don't have their attention on right now. This is, I believe, the best approach to betting on falling prices in general. So yes, I do believe that front at some point will go down from here. I do believe that a lot of this rally is manipulation. But the big question is, when will that turn around happen? Because again, the market can stay irrational for longer than you can potentially stay liquid. So if you're considering to bet on a falling price, make sure you still have enough capital to potentially double and triple down on that bet and wait until the real deflation happens, because potentially again we can see a secondary rally, maybe a tertiary rally, depending on how much attention this current rally sparks. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish here regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. If you've got Telegram, feel free to join us. Link is down below. Looking forward to chatting with you. See you over there.